Jaya Gopi Jannavalava Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Rāma Rāma Kunja Vihari Gopi Jannavalava Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rāma 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rāma 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rāma, Rāma Rāma, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rāma, Rāma Rāma, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo, Haribo. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Bhagavatam Saparivar Acarya Acarya Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem Se Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana ki Jai Brajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dhama ki Jai Mayapur Navadvip Dhama ki Jai Ganga Mayur Maya ki Jai Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. We ask the blessings, all the devotees, for your mercy, shower your mercy and blessings, so we can try to share something on chapter 23 of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Devahuti's Lamentation, and we'll read text 1 today. Maitreya uvāca pitṛbhyāṁ prasthite sādhvī patim iṅgita-kovidā nityam paryacarat prītyā bhavānīva bhavaṁ prabhum. Maitreya uvāca pitṛbhyāṁ prasthite sādhvī patim iṅgita-kovidā nityam paryacarat prītyā bhavānīva bhavaṁ prabhum. Please chant. Maitreya uvāca. Maitreya said, pitṛbhyāṁ, by the parents, prasthite, at the departure, sādhvī, the chaste woman, patim, her husband, iṅgita-kovidā, understanding the desires, nityam, constantly, paryacarat, she served, prītyā, with great love, Bhavānī, the goddess Pārvatī, Eva, like, bhavaṁ, Lord Śiva, prabhum, her Lord. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maitreya continued, after the departure of her parents, the chaste woman, Devahuti, who could understand the desires of her husband, served him constantly with great love, as Bhavānī, the wife of Lord Śiva, serves her husband. Purport: the specific example of Bhavānī is very significant. Bhavānī means the wife of Bhava, or Lord Śiva. Bhavānī, or Pārvatī, the daughter of the king of the Himalayas, selected Lord Śiva, who appears to be just like a beggar, as her husband. In spite of her being a princess, she undertook all kinds of tribulations to associate with Lord Śiva, who did not even have a house, but was sitting underneath the trees and passing his time in meditation. Although Bhavānī was the daughter of a very great king, she used to serve Lord Śiva just like a poor woman. Similarly, Devahuti was the daughter of an emperor, Svāyambhuva Manu, yet she preferred to accept Kardama Muni as her husband. She served him with great love and affection, and she knew how to please him. Therefore, she is designated here as sādhvī, which means a chaste, faithful wife. Her rare example is the ideal of Vedic civilization. Every woman is expected to be as good and chaste as Devahuti or Bhavānī. Today in Hindu society, unmarried girls are still taught to worship Lord Śiva with the idea that they may get husbands like him. Lord Śiva is the ideal husband, not in the sense of riches or sense gratification, but because he is the greatest of all devotees, Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. Shambhu, or Lord Śiva, is the ideal Vaishnav. He constantly meditates upon Lord Rāma and chants Hare Rāma, Hare Rāma, Rāma Rāma, Hare Hare. Lord Śiva has a Vaishnav Sampradaya, which is called the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya. Unmarried girls worship Lord Śiva so they can expect a husband who is as good a Vaishnav as he. The girls are not taught to select a husband who's very rich or very opulent for material sense gratification. Rather, if a girl is fortunate enough to get a husband as good as Lord Śiva in devotional service, then her life becomes perfect. The wife is dependent on the husband, and if the husband is a Vaishnav, then naturally she shares the devotional service of the husband because she renders him service. This reciprocation of service and love between husband and wife is the ideal of a householder's life. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhandvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Eva Cha Patitānaṁ Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rāma 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 Hare Hare. So we'll read the translation one more time. Maitreya continued, after the departure of her parents, the chaste woman Devahuti, who could understand the desires of her husband, served him constantly with great love as Bhavānī, the wife of Lord Śiva, serves her husband. So very powerful, as usual, commentary by Srila Prabhupada on this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. And now we will hear a continued history of Devahuti, who is the mother of Kapila Muni. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining here how she served her husband. And the example is given just as Bhavānī serves Lord Śiva. So we could think, how does Bhavānī serve Lord Śiva? And because we're here in Mayapur Navadvip, actually we are quite close to Lord Śiva. Lord Śiva has many pastimes with Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And I find this is a beautiful connection for us as we aspire to develop devotional service through the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We know in Navadvip there is Rudradvip, and Rudradvip is known for Mahaprabhu showering his mercy on Lord Śiva. Actually, Shankaracharya, who is Lord Śiva, he came here, and in Rudradvip he had this dream of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was Radha Krishna Nahiyanya, the Supreme Lord, and Radharani, his internal energy, combined, the most precious darshan, the most beautiful form of the Lord, the most merciful form, appeared to Shankaracharya, who was busy preaching he had a difficult service. Sometimes we might think we have a difficult service. But here, the Lord's dear devotee has to preach to deviate people from the Lord's devotional service. So we see in that it's not about personal consideration that satisfies the Lord, the service we may like, we may not like. And Shankaracharya did this actually extremely expertly. So he gets this darshan of Mahaprabhu, and what happened in this dream? Actually, he explained that what you're doing should not really come in Navadvip. This is a special region. You have your service, but please don't bring that here. It's explained that those who oppose the Lord's devotees will be affected by this Mayavad impersonalism, this covered Buddhism. But please don't bring that in this special Dham, this most merciful Dham. And so this is one example of Mahaprabhu showering his mercy. Every day, we're here in the Dham, and we really have to, I think, keep focused on where we are and not get distracted by so many things which can make life easier, more comfortable. But here we see the real mercy is exhibited. We know also Vishnu Swami, he also met Lord Śiva here in Rudradvip, and he blessed him with a boon. Lord Śiva said, I'm so pleased by your worship, ask for any boon. And Vishnu Swami asked that they could start a sampradaya. So doing this, this was mercifully granted. As we know, this is the Rudra Sampradaya. And then Vishnu Swami actually also did this Gora Bhajan and got the darshan of Lord Chaitanya. So we see throughout books like Navadvita Mahatmya, this intense worship of Mahaprabhu yields fruit, it yields result. Now, how does Bhavānī serve Lord Śiva? Well, Bhavānī, Pārvatī, she also has pastimes in Navadvip. We know, does anyone know which dvip? Yes, Simanta Dvip. Pārvatī, she saw her husband dancing, chanting like a madman, chanting Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. So we see Lord Śiva, he has such a very quite complex tattva. He's very, we could say, pervasive in our philosophy in the universe. And he gets to worship Lord Chaitanya also. And that's explained, that was in Satya Yuga, he was worshipping Lord Chaitanya. And in this ecstasy of worshipping Mahaprabhu, which we have the fortune to do every single day, we stand right before Lord Chaitanya, and in the evening, the Gaura Arti is chanted. Such beautiful, precious moments to meditate on this Lord who wants to have that personal relationship with us. Should we be open to it? So in Simantadvi Pārvatī, she sees her husband chanting and she's asking, who is this golden Lord? So her heart starts melting by hearing the name of Gauranga. And she says that actually all these mantras and tantras that we do, it just brings misery. So Shiva actually explains to her position, that actually you are this energy of Radharani. And he says, I'll tell you the crown jewel of truths. I wonder what is the crown jewel of truths. There's many truths, you know. Param satyam dhimahi. We're meant to meditate on the absolute truth. And what is the crown jewel of truths? He says, during Kali Yuga, Krishna will take the heart of Radha and appear in Mayapur in the womb of Sachi Devi. This is the crown jewel of truths. Maddened by his pastimes of kirtan, Lord Gaudamani will distribute the jewel of divine love without judging its recipients. So she says, remembering this promise, actually Lord Śiva says, remembering this promise, I float in divine love. My heart has lost its composure. I have thus left Kashi. So, Kashi Tyag, Lord Śiva leaves Kashi to come stay in Mayapur, worship Mahaprabhu. I will stay in a hut on the bank of the Ganga in Mayapur and worship Lord Gauranga. And we see so many Acaryas did like this. Wherever they were doing their bhajan, many came to Mayapur, understanding this is the topmost dham, the topmost chance to get the highest mercy. But they were very focused. They were extremely intense in their bhajan. So we get a lot of lessons. Hearing these words, Pārvatī comes to Simantadvip. She meditates on this form of Gauranga, chanting the Gauranam. She experiences this divine love. So we want to continually ask ourselves, how does this work? How can that divine love come into our heart? She receives a beautiful darshan of Gauranga, who explains that actually you are present eternally as Purnamasi, Vrindavan, and as Pradua Maiha, here in the Dham. So she remains here, and we know she took the dust of Mahaprabhu and put on her head. So here we have a nice example how Pārvatī, she was following in the footsteps of her husband, and the husband was doing this intense worship, intense bhajan. So in the purport we're getting the emphasis that women are meant to devotedly serve the husband. So it might be possible to spend a lot of time how the women should be so devoted and chaste, and this is their duty. But we see the other side also, that what are the men doing? How the men should be. The duty for the men to be very intensely engaged in bhakti, and that completing the cycle, they're receiving assistance to deepen their devotional service. So we don't always want to be pointing the finger at others, what others should be doing. We should think, what should we be doing? And here we're getting examples how this intense devotional worship actually is most desirable in Navadvip. There's other pastimes. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he actually meets with Lord Śiva and his wife, who are disguised, or they're in the dress of Brahmins. I saw this actually downstairs. There's a beautiful relief exhibit in the kind of shop just in the right next to the temple. And I saw this pastime of Mahaprabhu conversing with Lord Śiva. And I couldn't remember, where is this from? I don't remember this pastime, but it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita in South India. Lord Śiva and his wife Durga, they live in the dress of Brahmins, and they see Lord Chaitanya actually. And Lord Śiva, dressed as a Brahmin, he gives alms to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, invites him to spend 3 days in a solitary place where they talk very confidentially. So we can only imagine what kind of discussions between Mahaprabhu and Lord Śiva. If we could hear these discussions, how much purified we would become, and hopefully that taste would come by hearing such great devotees. Satam prasangam mama virya samvido. That pure katha has the potency to awaken this attraction that we're looking for. We're looking for that personal attraction. So that's another beautiful pastime of Śiva and his wife getting the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu often glorified the position of Lord Śiva. And also Pārvatī. We see other pastimes in Bhagavatam where her husband is blasphemed by Daksha, and how much chastity, and she is unwilling to tolerate this to the extreme. So we have this example also. So there's, of course, many deep points here about this nature, but I would like to also focus on chastity in the deeper and bigger context of devotional chastity. And we are endeavoring to all become extremely chaste to our Lord, to the real master, the real husband of Krishna. So there's pastimes even of Lord Śiva in Vrindavan, and I felt like it's very important to also discuss Vrindavan, because this is our highest aspiration. If we don't hear about it, we hear about so many other things. There's no shortage of vibrations going on. Shrotavya dini rajendra ninam santi sahasrasha. Yes, that there's many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor. So many things are there, but how much time are we just hearing about Krishna directly? It's very important. And we study the Bhagavatam every day, and the Bhagavatam is telling us that Dharma svanostita pungsang vishvakshena katasaya notpadaya yadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. Unless it's generating a taste, what is the use? So sometimes we have to ask ourselves, I'm doing so many things. How much is my taste increasing? And therefore, Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantastohi Badani Vidinosi Suhritsatam. Krishna cleanses the heart of the one who's developed the urge to hear his message. How much eager are we to hear about Krishna? This is our work. So also this principle of ananya bhakti, we could say chastity, like unwavering. We can look the opposite. Unchaste means you go somewhere else. Chastity means you're very loyal, very faithful. So Krishna is our everything, actually, our Lord and Master, our life and soul. Are we going to Him, or where are we going? What is pulling us away? Why are we not interested so much in hearing about the Lord? We saw the great devotees, they're really absorbed. They don't want to do something else. Like there's nothing better. There's nothing superior. There's no superior happiness than connecting with Krishna, our Lord Chaitanya. So how is it we find so many other things that seem to give us pleasure? Yeah, we're sick. We have this disease. And therefore hearing about Vrindavan is a very important medicine to revitalize us, actually, to awaken us. So we see in Vrindavan this chastity of devotees, the pure devotees in Vrindavan. This is the highest example of chastity we see. The highest of the highest, the gopis. Apparently they went out in the night, they apparently performed some adharmic activity, but we understand this is actually the highest dharma. This is the highest chastity, the gopis. And what happened? Krishna played his flute, and Krishna is playing his flute. He's calling all of us. The gopis showed they were very eager to go to Krishna. I don't know how eager we are to go to Krishna. It's not so easy. It's not so easy, There's many attachments. We have things in this world we think are very important. I'm not sure, should I go to Krishna? If we were there, we'd be thinking, Krishna's playing the flute. Yeah, but what about this? They didn't have that problem. They went immediately. Even they were doing so many activities, cooking. When you're cooking, you're pretty focused. What to speak if you're taking care of a baby? And others, maybe they can relate. If you're taking care, breastfeeding a baby. But they heard the flute. Okay, put the baby down. Not even thinking twice. Baby, my child, put the child down. So it's incredible. And they run out. They were trying to decorate themselves for Krishna's pleasure, but they couldn't even properly do this. So they go and finally they see Krishna, and Krishna tells them, you should just go back home. But they're not willing to leave Krishna's association. They've passed through so many tests. There's different types of gopis. Some are eternally perfect, and some also develop that position. So think for those sadhaka, siddha, who are after so many lifetimes of tests and challenges trying to develop Krishna consciousness, they got that opportunity. So it's very inspiring. And then also in Ras Leela, after they have the association of Krishna, Krishna again leaves. Krishna leaves them, and what is their mood? They're not going to go somewhere else. They've given their heart completely to the Lord. Such beautiful examples of this principle, and very nourishing. And of the highest of all, Srimati Radharani. She's there when Uddhava visits Vrindavan. The residents of Vrindavan were completely distraught. Krishna had left. It's this very actually devastation that hits Vrindavan. And when Uddhava comes, he starts talking about Krishna's position. And the gopis, Radharani, they say, don't talk to us about jnana, knowledge. We're not interested in that. And Uddhava even praises them. We're not interested in being praised. So by that intense attachment, then there's no other taste. There's no other attraction. That's the higher taste. Param drishtva nivartate. By the power of that attraction to Krishna, then the lower taste is overcome. So this is the procedure. Other examples we have are Nanda and Yashoda. In parental love, Mother Yashoda, she chastises, she scolds Krishna. She cannot conceive of him as the Supreme Personality. So this type of, we could say, Nistha or one-pointedness we see throughout the residents of Vrindavan. And the cowherd boys, they cannot even stand a moment if Krishna goes behind one tree branch, they go in complete anxiety. So this is another example. The cowherd men themselves, they have the mood to protect Krishna. That Krishna is in danger, he needs our support. This is how their love comes out. So sometimes in the early demons of Krishna Leela, Trinavarta carries Krishna away and the Gopas start running after. We will protect him. In Govardhan Leela, Krishna raises Govardhan hill and the cowherd men, they hold up their sticks. Krishna is just a young boy. He might get a little tired. He hasn't eaten so much. Let's help him out. And even when Kaliya captures Krishna in his coils, what happens? Nanda Maharaj, he enters the water. Yashoda is too distraught. Nanda Maharaj, he just enters the water right away. So how much love, how worshipable this is. There are worshipable ideals. And we know that to actually worship of the devotee is higher than worship of the Lord. Mad bhaktya pujabdika, to worship the devotees. So we worship Krishna, we worship Mahaprabhu, and we worship the devotees actually. Krishna says, worship of my devotee, that's actually better than worship of me. Because the devotee is carrying that love, pure devotion. There's other beautiful one passages of the Krishna book that always touch my heart is the queens of Dwaraka, when they're remembering Krishna's association. It's saying sometimes at night they can't sleep because they're remembering their activities with the Lord. And they give these beautiful descriptions. I'll just read one. They say, "Dear Kurari bird, now it is very late. Everyone is sleeping. The whole world is now calm and peaceful. At this time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is sleeping, although His knowledge is undisturbed by any circumstance. Then why are you not sleeping? Why are you lamenting like this throughout the whole night? Dear friend, is it that you are also attracted by the lotus eyes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by His sweet smiling and attractive words, exactly as we are? Do those dealings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead pinch your heart as they do ours?" So such fortunate, such beautiful examples of devotion. And there's many more. They talk about the ocean. Why are you roaring all night, etc. So there's an interesting point that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur makes about these high levels of devotion and three specific qualities of this kind of ruchi. And I just read them for purification by serving our great acharyas. One is Bhagavat Prapti Abhilas. Bhagavat Prapti, intense desire for the attainment of Sri Krishna. Anukulya Abhilas, desire to do that which is favorable to Krishna. And Soharda Abhilas, the desire to serve the Lord with affection. So the devotees have intense desires. We are not impersonal, we're not stones. We cannot live just by negation, don't do. We have to somehow or other, by the Lord's mercy, develop some intense desires. We were hearing yesterday, those who have life can preach. And what is that life? It's that desire. So we don't reject desire. We cannot live without desire. We are beings of desire. We just have to transform our desire, intensify our desire. And that's what makes the difference between the conditioned state and the liberated state. Here they have intense desires to attain Krishna, to do that which is favorable for Krishna, and to serve the Lord with affection. It says not just serving the Lord, but serving the Lord with affection. The mood, the service is opportunity to invest the mood. If the mood is not there, we're not getting the full benefit, So we didn't quite get to Lord Chaitanya yet. There's many examples in Lord Chaitanya's Leela also of this principle. And just one of my favorites is Jagadananda Pandit, who had so much love for Lord Chaitanya. We can see this chastity of Jagadananda Pandit towards Mahaprabhu. We may remember one time in Vrindavan, he went to Vrindavan and he saw Sanatana Goswami who was wearing this red cloth, which usually is worn by Durga worshippers or different sampradaya. And he became furious. And Sanatana, some other sannyasi gave us, he said, how could you do that? How could you wear something other than what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would give? So he has this obsession with Lord Chaitanya. If you'll allow me, I'll just read a few of his very moving statements. He says, "Oh, my dear Lord Gauranga, I am deprived of the association of your lotus feet because I wish to go to Vrindavan. I cannot continue to live without seeing you. I do not know what I should do presently. Those lovely reddish lotus feet of Lord Gauranga are my most treasured object. Alas, I'm so foolish I left them behind. Now I cannot see them, as they tenderly leave their impression on the sands of Purushottam Kshetra. I do not know the reason for my coming here. It is only my restless mind that must fly about like a loose bird. I'm losing my heart in this confusion. I want to relinquish my life for Lord Gauranga, yet death escapes me." And he explains, "I cannot bear even a moment's separation from the Lord, because my beloved Lord Gaurasundar always dances in the chamber of my heart. He does not allow me to end my life, and if I remain alive, then we constantly quarrel with each other. I don't know what can sustain my life. Whoever's been captivated by Lord Gauranga's love is in deep waters, a precarious situation where there's a tug of war." So, yeah, what can we say? This is a very special devotee of the Lord who in Krishna Lila is Satyabhama. So exhibiting such pure dedication, one-pointed, eka vrat, eka nistha. And here in Mahaprabhu's Lila, he comes as Jagadananda Pandit, the same mood. He didn't give up. The same mood is coming out. So ultimately we are chaste, we are aspiring to be chaste to Krishna, to Lord Chaitanya, ultimately to Srila Prabhupada as well. And this, I feel, is being very nicely presented here in Mayapur. And this month also we are remembering Srila Prabhupada's instructions to spread this knowledge, and we're trying to be chaste to serving Srila Prabhupada by distributing this knowledge, which I'll just conclude with a final example. And that is, as you all know, tava katamritam tapta jivanam kavibiriditam kalmasapaham shravanamangalam srimad bhuvi grantiye buridajana. The nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations transmitted by learned sages eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune, even so much good fortune. I mean, that's one way to put, but such powerful, incredible good fortune. Obviously what Prabhupada says is perfect, but what is this good fortune? It's this priceless opportunity. So they bestow this good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent. So that's from the gopis. They're glorifying, amazing. Those who spread the message of Godhead are most munificent, amazing. So we have that opportunity. And so many ways to serve Lord Chaitanya's mission, Srila Prabhupada's mission. So I will thank you all, great devotees, for your time and kind attention, and see if there's any questions or comments. Okay,
Hare Krishna. Thank you, bro, for the class. Bro, how do we respond to the testing situations?
The testing?
Testing situations. How do we respond?
Can you explain what you mean?
Question, Prabhu, that how do we respond to the testing situations?
How do we respond to the testing situations? But
means, suppose we are put into the situation where so much confusion is there, and what we should do, what we should not do. It becomes very difficult to decide.
yes, Maya is always testing us. Wherever there's opportunity for mercy, I find Maya is very strong right at that time. So if you're getting tested, that means there's a great opportunity. And Maya is testing us. So what to do? The only answer I can give you is that we call out. We just pray at that moment. Don't try to solve it with your mind or with anything else. The Lord hears our prayers. The Lord here is very powerful. Lord Nrsingadev, here in Mayapur, Lord Nrsingadev, he can easily destroy all our problems. But sometimes we forget to pray. So that testing is a time where we have to bring the mind back to Krishna, humbly call out to Vaishnavas, Guru, deity, the Lord, the form of the Lord which inspires you and protects you and saves you, that we try to serve. So that's what I would recommend in tests. There will be tests. There's always tests. Every moment is a test. Some tests are stronger, but this is a very helpful suggestion I can give you on that question, unless anyone else, senior Vaishnavas, would like to also comment. They're welcome. Or if anyone else wants to ask, share anything. Yes, Prabhu. Oh, yes, Prabhu.
First of all, thank you for the class. I may have misunderstood. I thought early in the class you had said something like Lord Chaitanya, Shankaracharya met Lord Chaitanya.
Yes.
So, and then you also gave another Leela of Lord Śiva in a totally different yuga chanting the names of Lord Gauranga.
Yes.
So, since neither of those are in any of Prabhupada books, I'm not saying this to challenge. Part of our museum is about Maheshtam. So whenever I hear anyone talking about Lord Śiva that I haven't read, I want to know where it's from.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. These are both recounted in Sri Navadvipdham Mahatmya by Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
That's the source.
Yes, this is a very, very useful guide because Nityananda Prabhu takes Jiva Goswami on parikram, and it's one of my favorite books. It explains all of the islands of Navadvip and different pastimes that happened there.
Well, I can understand anything's possible with Lord Śiva because he is not a living entity. I mean, he's Lord Śiva. But Shankaracharya is mentioned in that text, that book, but he lived 700-800 years before Lord Chaitanya appeared. So
yes.
Again, maybe something happened that they could meet, but
yes.
in terms of like a historical line, they couldn't have met.
Many of these experiences are Mahaprabhu appearing, not necessarily when he was walking on this earth, but he often appears as a revelation, a darshan.
That's
so
different.
he gave
Thank
his
you.
darshan.
That,
thank you.
That's a good explanation.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I was trying to highlight these because this text is mentioning how Bhavānī serves Lord Śiva. So I just felt inspired and went a little in that direction of Śiva and Pārvatī as we're in Mayapur with the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Prabhu.
Pranam Prabhu, thank you for the class. Prabhu, you had mentioned that Vishnu Swami desired to have a sampradaya, the name of Rudra. Is there any information in the Shastras, the timeline when this happened? Is it as old, is Rudra Sampradaya as old as Brahma Matuka Sampradaya? Or also, just to add another question, is there any information in the Shastras with this timeline of the four Sampradayas which you started? I mean, how old is each?
Right, so we have in the Shastra that there's four Sampradayas, authorized Sampradayas, Brahma, Shiva, Lakshmi and Kumaras. As far as when their origin is, well, Brahma starts the Brahma Sampradaya. Of course, these are later on revolutionized or propagated by the Acaryas like Vishnu Swami, Madhvacharya. But the Brahma Sampradaya begins with Lord Brahma. He is the founder, Acharya, we say Samstapak, or the founder of our Sampradaya is actually Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma, we're talking the beginning of the creation. That's the best I can do because Lord Śiva also, of course Lord Śiva manifests after Brahma in terms of creation. the 4 Kumaras, sons of Brahma, Shiva also son of Brahma, and Lakshmi being the eternal consort. Unfortunately, I cannot provide dates, but let's focus how ancient they are, how actually practically eternal these sampradayas are, because we cannot really fathom how long creation has been. Therefore, this Shastra is mentioning that these are the authorized sampradayas because they have this antiquity, they have this authenticity coming from the time of creation. And then they are, I would say, revitalized by different acharyas, for example, Madhvacharya. But yeah, that's how I would answer that. Anyone else likes to, they can also. In the back of Srivas Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Could you share the reference of the story of Jagadananda Pandit in Vrindavan?
Yes, this is in Prema Vivarta. It's a whole book by Jagadananda Pandit. We have a few different translations. My favorite is Kushakrata Prabhu, and there's also Bhanu Swami. Very nice, and they're available in this bookstore right here. Prema Vivarta. Sorry? As far as I recall, I could be wrong. It could be someone else, but... Yes, if anyone is looking for a special dose of mercy of Lord Chaitanya, it's said that whoever gets the association of Jagadananda Pandit feels like they have the direct association of Lord Chaitanya. So this is an amazing book of his effusions of divine love. Prema Vivarta. It means transformations of prema or love.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. My doubt is, like you said, devotional purity of a woman. So how a devotionally pure woman is different from materially pure women? Like they both are surrendered to a husband. So how the qualities can be different? And if they are different, obviously they are, but then how being a practitioner devotee, I can help a material Mataji to be a surrendered devotional servant of her husband.
Yeah, so Prabhupada here is emphasizing this role, this dharmic role of the wife to serve the husband. Now Bhakti, Prabhupada emphasizes it's for everyone. So regardless of one's position in ashram, one's body, everyone should take to devotional service and worship the Lord and chant Hare Krishna. So we want to actually propagate service, devotional service to everyone. The social construct, the social model that takes us through, as we're still conditioned, the support of Varnashram Dharma to help facilitate and deepen the devotion, that it becomes useful to the degree that our devotion develops. If someone is not a devotee, they will benefit by following Dharma. So we can encourage them to follow dharmic principles like Varnashram, like serving the husband. Ultimately, we want to teach everyone to engage in bhakti yoga, in devotional service. So I would rather encourage people how to take up devotion and start chanting or reading, and gradually help them develop connection with devotional service, Srila Prabhupada. And in that way, automatically, they're receiving a higher benefit. Many people may not be ready to do that. So Varnashram is a kind of system to help gradually elevate them. So we encourage them to follow their social position, but at the same time we encourage them to chant Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Bol. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Bol.
Thank you for the class. I had a question about when you said that like service to the devotees is more pleasing to Krishna than like service of himself. So my question was that I can't really think of a good situation right now to compare, but I'll give a crude example. Like if you had a devotee as a guest at your house, and maybe you are like about to offer bhoga to Krishna, and let's say they needed something like water or something, what would you prioritize? Like do the bhoga quickly and then serve the devotee, or just serve the devotee and then delay like a little of Krishna's bhoga and then you do the bhoga?
Yeah, that's a great question, and actually that's mentioned, the importance of receiving guests, especially an exalted devotee. So specifically we have for an exalted devotee, like a great soul, if they come to your house, even you can stop the arti and go receive them. That's proper. Because we have to try to understand the heart of Krishna. If Krishna is so much in love with his devotee, and he's pleased when our devotee is respected. Now generally when a guest comes to the temple, we don't stop the arti. We don't give them the Raj Bhog. So they're welcome, and we have a facility to welcome them, but when we're on the altar and we're absorbed, it's also mentioned you should not break worship. So we should not stop once we're worshiping the Lord for anything. As far as we can see, one should not stop the worship, interrupt the worship. That becomes an offense because we're standing right with Krishna. So it said when we can do that is for a great devotee. The other devotees, they're welcome to come, take darshan, be purified. They can take charnamrita, and there'll be so many places they can take nice prasad. We'll be happy to serve them after the arti is over. Yes.
Within ISKCON, great devotees would not want any arti to stop just because they walk into someone's house. Rather, they don't just pop into someone's house. They are invited. It's a specific time, and that household plans for that time. So it may be that they could delay an artik, or maybe not, depending on the type of deities they have in their home. But a great devotee, and I use this phrase, great devotee, I don't know, Prabhupada's a great devotee. Everyone else is just I don't know what else is. But senior devotees would never want any puja for Krishna being stopped on their account. So I just wanted to be very clear about that.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Thank
Prabhu.
you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Mayapur Dham